Good afternoon, Panthers. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Willie Taylor, and this presentation is titled Privacy in the Workplace, Balancing Autonomy in the Era of Surveillance. The central thesis of my presentation, drawn from my paper, is while workplace monitoring technologies such as keystroke logging, email scanning, and AI-powered productivity trackers can improve security and efficiency, they significantly erode employee privacy rights and create a culture of surveillance that undermines trust, requiring stronger U.S. legal and ethical frameworks to balance employer interests with individual autonomy. Today, I'll cover the technologies and their pros, the cons and impacts on employees, ethical arguments in U.S. legal frameworks, and finally, global issues with recommendations. Let's begin. First, let's examine the common monitoring technologies in use today. These include keystroke logging, email and internet scanning, AI-powered productivity trackers, video and biometric surveillance, and GPS or location tracking. According to recent data, approximately 78% of U.S. employers use some form of monitoring, a significant increase post-pandemic, with over 70% of large firms actively implementing these tools. The pros are clear from a business perspective. These technologies enhance security by helping prevent data leaks, workplace harassment, and policy violations. They boost efficiency and productivity by identifying bottlenecks and allowing fair measurement of output. They also protect broader business interests through reduced legal liability and better resource optimization. For example, in regulated industries like finance or healthcare, monitoring can quickly detect insider threats or ensure compliance with strict rules. Overall, employers gain valuable visibility into operations. Cons and impacts on employees. However, these benefits come with serious drawbacks. Constant tracking erodes employee privacy by blurring the lines between work and personal life, especially in remote or hybrid setups where personal devices or activities can be inadvertently captured. Psychologically and health-wise, studies link heavy monitoring to increased stress, anxiety, reduced morale, and lower job satisfaction. The surveillance culture it fosters often leads to burnout, diminished creativity, and a loss of autonomy. Employees may feel constantly watched, which undermines trust. This can result in higher turnover or disengagement. Take invasive keystroke logging, which might capture personal emails or searches, or AI trackers that impose unrealistic pressure through constant metrics. As one narration point highlights, while employers gain visibility, employees lose autonomy. Studies link monitoring to higher stress and lower well-being. This creates a culture of surveillance that undermines trust. Ethical arguments in U.S. legal frameworks. Moving to the ethical dimensions. This raises a classic debate between deontological ethics, where privacy is viewed as an inherent right to human dignity, and teleological ethics, which prioritizes the greater good for business security and efficiency. Key principles like fairness, meaningful consent, and transparency are often overlooked. making monitoring feel dehumanizing. Legally, in the U.S., protections are limited. The Electronic Communications Privacy Act of 1986, ECPA, permits broad monitoring for legitimate business purposes, and notice or implied consent is often enough. There is no comprehensive federal privacy law specifically for private workplaces. We see some stronger state variations such as California's CCPA and CPRA, but employers generally have wide discretion. The gaps are significant. Little emphasis on proportionality, employee input, or limits on highly invasive tools. And this calls for stronger frameworks, including mandatory clear notifications, privacy impact assessments, and opt-out options where feasible. Global issues and recommendations. Looking globally, the contrast is stark. The European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, enforces strict requirements around consent, data minimization, and purpose limitation. Employees have robust rights such as access to their data and the right to erasure, rights far stronger than the U.S. patchwork approach. Multinational companies must navigate these differences carefully. The U.S. currently lags in this area, creating compliance challenges for global firms and highlighting the need for reform. To achieve better balance, I recommend stronger laws mandating notice and impact assessments, along with limits on biometrics and overly intrusive AI. Companies should adopt ethical policies, emphasizing transparency and employee involvement. Alternatives like aggregated, non-individual analytics can provide insights without constant personal surveillance. In conclusion, while monitoring offers real advantages, we must address its erosion of privacy and trust through updated legal and ethical standards. Thank you for your attention. I'd be happy to take any questions. Here are my key references for further reading.